Another day of the EU Open qualifier calls as we move one step closer to seeing which teams are going to make it to those coveted spots in the closed qualifier for Europe. Today we're kicking it off with a bit of a banger, an old-school Swedish street fight, Vince. FNATIC up against Eyeballers. Two big names.
Oh, absolutely, and pretty early on as well. You know, this is catching up from yesterday, which was slightly delayed. Best of one today between these two teams. Then we'll be cracking into the best of threes, I think, a little bit later on. But Matt's going to be picking up the slack. We saw FNATIC batter yesterday onto Inter SG, and they're keeping up the pace. Two players remain on the T side, and they're going to be swatted down pretty quickly. JW's keeping himself in this, however, with a quick fire frag, 1v1 up against the IGL FNATIC.
Big man JW. The old school cool. Always pulls out shenanigans when his team needs it most. Loves that aggressive CS. In this situation, though, favoring just using the time as the second man on the server. Play a little bit slower, cut noise, tuck into the corner, and make Body over-assess the situation. Leave him doubting where exactly JW has gone. Although he stuck to his guns, at least for now, he was committed to the idea that he'd double back towards the B-bomb site, but finally starting to bite on the bait that has been put out by JW.
JW now slowly sneaks his way onto the site. Just shy of 30 seconds. That smoke's going to give everything away, of course, but it does give him safe passage for the bomb plant and should secure the rotation afterwards, but Body's going to get straight after him. Makes the noise. JW's anticipating the right-hand peek. It's going to be the left side, but still shuts down Body just in time. Bit of BM. Love to see that in this Swedish rivalry. This Eyeballers that claim the first round of this game.
Nicely played from him. Smart round. Good position to be left in the 1v1. Didn't just go crazy and throw caution to the wind. Played a lot smarter, and it pays off in the end. So Eyeballers taking an opening pistol round on overpass. Always what you want. Put the eggs in the basket from the get-go. Helps you out a lot on that T side. For FNATIC, the response is just going to be USPs with a single flash. Afro has that in his possession. He's set up back towards the A site. You can flash over, and all of them are set up on a bit of a crossfire here towards toilets. So they can swing in. Maybe you catch one player up close, scavenge an AK, get a gun out of it. What's most likely going to happen, though, is Shine on the Mat 10 will be looking to farm some megabucks, Vince.
Yeah, he's got dollar signs in his eyes. It's the AK of Sepek so far that has picked up one, but Shine with a second. JW sprays down with 3. And that's about as clean as you'd like if you're Eyeballers. They do have a casualty, can easily trade across to that rifle, of course, but now is the main course. FNATIC have themselves full M4s to supplement more grenades. No AWP is going to be maybe a bit of a problem. Lack of HEs as well. They do have 2 now, just been picked up. So game is well and truly on. However, with MR12, we were talking about this yesterday, Jacky. If you get started rough on the CT side of a map like Overpass, and FNATIC concede this round, they're already backs against the walls. The pressure is already on, and they're going to get aggressive. First spray into Bodies. They back out a connector.
Taking confidence and trying to set the pace of the game with their onslaught down connector. Afro lucky to limp away from that one after eating the detonation. Somewhat unlucky as well for JW. Looked like he was posted for the reaction shot, but misses with the AWP. Shine as well. Still alive, but barely. Perhaps or at least can trade it back onto QB and keep the situation tight in the battle of attrition. A 4 versus 4 to work with. Low HP on 2 of the big name players for Eyeballers though. You do have a bit of map control to work with. They can always double back. It just depends on the flank from Afro with the timing. That's the most important part. Shadow's going to give the game away. JW's ready. Barrel to the belly, and he's finished off.
Shine limping with that 14 HP. JW not faring too much better, but he is going to be going for the peak. And Crims will shut him down. Bit of rivalry between the two players. Have known each other extremely long time, of course. And now Crims goes back in. Weaken Shine next up to the plate. But Pepser at least makes sure that that kill streak comes to an abrupt end. 2-on-2, 20 seconds on the clock. And A-Site will be the final resting place of round 3.
So much damage done from the Molotov, forcing the face as well. So the situation turns from an equal event just to down a solo play on body. Tried to just bound in, hoping maybe he could catch them off guard, but loses out on the fight. And Eyeballers now ascend to 3 rounds on the spin to kick off this overpass affair versus FNATIC. No real money to work with either. Completely broken with the CT economy, resetting back down. So a little bit of investment, a couple of upgraded pistols, few smokes to protect yourselves, and a couple of sets of Kevlar, the vests thrown on the chest. They need to do something to leave Eyeballers looking like a mess on this one. Play those close angles, do something a little bit unorthodox potentially. Eyeballers, of course, with such a range advantage, Vince. You've got to think this will just be a slow round from them. Take the fight towards long, slowly make you move up towards A, and try and take it as cleanly as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they know that FNATIC are going to be into a very rough position, economically speaking. No reason to get overzealous and maybe walk into a stack. So it's going to take a while, I think, before they do end up hitting the site. FNATIC have decided they want to switch it up, anticipating an early B rush, perhaps. That won't be the case. So they're going to send 4 players up onto A, leaving QB by himself, who had a really solid performance yesterday. We know him as the trialist of this FNATIC team. Been a roster now for about 2 months. Nice boosted up position from Crims, though, with that deagle. That could be a problem for Eyeballers if they don't check all the angles, but they've been very slow and methodical so far. Oh, well, as I say, did they check the angle? Insta-headshot.
Swedes and boosts on overpass, Vin. Tale as old as time. Doesn't work out as well here, though, but at least Afro can shine with the deagle. Oh, the pistols all around are proving a little bit of a powerhouse play, as it's whittled down Eyeballers to just 2. Pepser is running straight in towards the B bomb site, has the smoke for the heads up block towards heaven, but it's a near miss. It's going to leave that angle completely open. He's dinked because of it as well, brought down to 34, and this is a must-win round for Eyeballers that's crumbling away. Shine falls in the dying moments, and FNATIC pick up the pieces on that one, getting away with 2 weapons for free as well.
Oh, man. The first pick onto the boosted up position, they know a second player is there. There's no stilts in this game, no step ladder. So you have all the information, you have the opening pick, and then you just still walk into this crossfire, this cacophony of deagles and 5.7s, get splattered, and then Peps, as you said, missing that heaven smoke effectively was the final nail in the coffin. There was no way with that time, outnumbered, outgunned, that they were going to get that one done. So FNATIC snatch away around that should never have been theirs, but now they have rifles instantly into the crosshair of JW, and he's not going to miss in connector. Notorious for being aggressive with the AWP throughout the history of Counter-Strike, and that's not going to change anytime soon. The other problem as well here as well, Jacky, is like you look at Eyeballers' economy after 3 straight wins, they're still down to a couple deagles on a couple players here, and looking a little bit rough. So they've got to make sure that they continue this killing way and try and get themselves maybe a 2-player advantage.
Yeah, you got to start winning these rounds, but winning them a little bit cleaner. Like you say, in fact, it's going down to these 1v1s, down to these tight situations with rounds being traded. Your economy is not going to be very happy about it. Nice shot, though, on the peek up through connector. A good reaction. But here's the reaction from the CTs. Quick rotate, try and bolster the defense towards the A site. Heap able to clap back. Matty's murdered on the bomb site. QB eating damage from the HE as well. He's down to 50 HP. Pops the smoke to at least have some sort of timing. Potentially a getaway. But he's been dunked with a 3-pointer, Vince.
He has, and that leaves Crims all alone in a post plant. Bunny is still very rough on the side of FNATIC, so I doubt he's going to go in for this one. Just sitting for an exit frag. Maybe just put the bait in the water and see if anything bites. Shine has that HE designed to allow him safe passage to fall back. And he will trade up to the AWP at the very least, so at least they'll have a little bit more firepower into that next round. But unfortunately for FNATIC, it is a one and done. They get the success with pistols, a round they should never have won. And Eyeballers get straight back into winning ways. JW opens his account with the first kill, and they secure it pretty convincingly in the end. FNATIC looking like a bit of a mess right now, Jacky. You know, we were saying yesterday how impressive these guys were against Inter SG. It was a case of Inter SG picking up the pistol, and FNATIC ran away with the game on Ancient. But here on Overpass, it's been very rocky road thus far.
It's been rough for him, Vince. And that was good. You know, the optics we saw from that game at least boded well around some of the players that we could see flexing their muscles a little bit. Body, you could see he had a good assess on the situation for the game. Afro was getting stuck in. Crims was going absolutely off. But when we compare the two teams in terms of what they've done over the past few months, right, I feel like Eyeballers probably do have so much more stock behind them. This project's really been paying off. If I'm not mistaken, they picked up the win at the Svenska Cup back in Sweden, probably only about a month or two ago at this point, Vince, where, you know, they won a big LAN tournament for them in their own region, proving that there's still a lot of firepower in this team. The idea behind it as well of revitalizing the brand, it's done well. Eyeballers are a home name once again in Counter-Strike like they used to be. And you can see that consistency's definitely paying off for them. For FNATIC, as much as this roster's come together a couple months ago, it still feels like they're finding their footing in a few places. You don't really have time to do that now. This is open qualifier territory. You muck up, you make a mistake, you're out. You have to do it again next time. And of course, your chances get smaller and smaller the more qualifier runs you have to go through. For Eyeballers, though, leading at the minute, we're into the 6th round. You're up by 3, and they've got firepower to play with. There is at least a buy on the CT side, namely the big green gun, Afro. He's donned the AWP. He's got the scope in his palms, and he's trying to defend. Isolated on his own, though, Vince, towards front toilets. Could get a bit rough for him if he falls.
That's very true. Does have body now alongside him. And a third player in the form of Crims is coming up. That's one hell of a reinforcement. A one-man army was playing stellar Counter-Strike yesterday. This split and pick kind of mix-up mash from Eyeballers needs to make a decision. It needs to make it soon. Shy of 30 seconds on the clock. They do have connector control, so they can quickly pivot up into A. Maybe that kill onto body is what's going to make the decision for them. But no, they've still got their eyes trained on the B side. Flash in. Won't be doing too much. Pepsi, though, caught between 3 players. And those all 3 players all snatching for frags. Matties comes through with 1. And Crims with another. Suddenly down to JW, who managed to rummage his way round the back of the CTs. But it's not going to have any value whatsoever. Somehow FNATIC get it done. Eyeball is far too slow on their engagement.
Felt like we were waiting for a big payoff, a big delivery. And it just came far too late. Like a parcel that you haven't paid for expedited shipping on, Vince. You sat by the mailbox and there's nothing in there. JW at least had the blessing of ducking his head down at the last second and getting out with the AWP. And one of the smarter things is as well, we are seeing them make use of those tactical timeouts. Call it in now. You've had a bit of a blunder of a round. Slow it down, figure out what you want to change, and then come back in fresh into the next, because you got to convert this. Money's going to be a bit rough as well, so you're probably trying to at least figure out what you do with a buy. Maybe a bit of a deco around the AWP. Throw a couple of MAC-10s into the mix if you're really feeling audacious, but for the most part, this relies on JW being the focal point, and if he falls, someone else picking up the AWP and using that, following it.
Yeah, precisely that, honestly, and it seems like they've listened to your thoughts there. 2 MAC-10s have been picked up. JW with the AWP, of course. It's been quite stagnant. Couple rounds though from Eyeballers, very slow and methodical takes, and there's no problem with that. But if that is going to be your default, eventually FNATIC are going to make the most of it. You can see the aggression, ruthless aggression this round for FNATIC, pushing playground, mollying the entrance point from the con side of T spawn. And although there's a plethora of T's coming up through connector, a lack of firepower could be a problem. Afro takes his shot and misses it, but can fall back. Same can be said for Crims. Leaves the grenade as a parting gift, and it shreds 3 players. But Crims now has to stand and deliver. And deliver he shall, as he has so many times throughout the ages. 3 kills goes his way, and FNATIC go from strength to strength, from round to round. 3 now picked up.
Crims does not crumble in those sort of situations, mate, does he? Looking crisp. Really nice to see. And again, you know, we were kind of just singing his praises last time we saw this FNATIC roster towards the end of the night yesterday to even get them to this position. He was looking really good. Was taking a lot of liberties in terms of how he would go for opening duels on the T side. His angle holding on CT side was pretty damn mean as well, and we're seeing signs of that again here now. So getting into the groove of the day. Everyone's waking up a bit. The blood is pumping. You're going to be furious on the T side to eat that nade. Shine brought down to sub 50 HP off the back of the early connection. And they're playing smart with it. Not overly aggressive on the CT side. Play the angles. You know, you've got the range advantage. Afro. Couple of rough misses into this game already, Vince. He needs to recover from that. Can't be a trend that we're seeing again and again, because it will result in some problems. Close toilets could be the next point of contact here, though. Sapek just waiting, seeing if Body's going to walk in and give him a freebie.
I was thinking the exact same thing myself, Jacky, there. That Afro is just, he doesn't seem comfortable, does he? Doesn't feel like he's quite there yet. Down he goes. So does Peps at JW with a double. P250 headshots come in. Quick and fast. Returning the favor maybe on FNATIC. Eyeballers in a round where really low in terms of investment, in terms of weaponry. That HE is gold. It's money. QB takes a stray nade down to 43. Returns fire with one of his own. They're going to trade the AWP in on JW again. Put him back into as strong a position as possible to fend off this 2v2 retake that FNATIC are trying to move in with. And when JW's in bathroom with this AWP, it's going to be very difficult to get back on the site. However, they have smokes. They have utility. Going to be sticking on this right now. JW, right idea, but just misses his shot. And with his teammate going down, that's going to be the defuse. The one main counter to JW with the smoke, and they completely nullify him.
You see him trying as he could. Looking for the lineup. Begging for that lineup, Vince. Just hoping one of those shots would land on target. The second looked pretty damn close, but not close enough. FNATIC basically stealing that one away from right underneath their noses. And fair play, it was a round that FNATIC should have had a grasp on from the get-go. Eyeballers really turned that one around just off the back of the pistol heroics on the bomb site. Shouldn't have happened the way it did, but it results in this. Level pegging 4-4 a pop here in the first half. So quite a close game. A good recovery from FNATIC at least. You can see towards the bottom of your screens how this was going. The ebb and flow, first 3 rounds off the back of the pistol, all eyeballers. We had the 1 reset round in the 4th for FNATIC. After that, eyeballers clap back. Now, finally, 3 rounds on the spin for FNATIC, tying us up. JW, at least with a scavenged AWP, will be able to don that going in and save a bit of green in the back pocket. He's got that money, so he can reinvest if he wants. Keep that paper and try and deal some damage with a scope into this 9th round.
This is a kind of switch up that I was hoping to see from Eyeballers. A bit more aggression and getting that early playground control. What we've typically seen is them get aggressive early in the round and then fall back into a fairly passive mid portion of the round. That's allowing FNATIC to hold on to a ton of grenades come the end of the rounds here. So I'm loving this. Slowly pushing up. Molotov onto the barrels. Flash there and double push. Pepsi misses his chance. Heath is still looking, hoping, anticipating. But the CTs are still standing. They're still landing headshots. It looked for all intents and purposes that Eyeballers had this round in the palm of their hand, but it's been slapped away by FNATIC.
The go-go gadget pimp slap comes out. Eyeballers take the backhand, and now they're on the back foot in the round. JW at least catching whiff of a bouncing body. Man's on the trampoline, but he's been knocked clean off. White socks slipping down as JW looks to see if he can clown on them some more. 40 seconds on the timer here. Sapek backing him up as well. They've got util. You've got a flash on Sapek if he wants to try and flash him in to go for a bit of a pop play. You've seen the player down towards water. Problem is, this is a hot zone. You've got quick trade potential from the CTs with how they're set up. Molotov's nice though. Forces him off the angle. Repeat was there. If JW hits the shot, it could have been a different story. Now it's slipping away again. Hopes and dreams fading. You've got the flank in the back from Crims as well. And Sapek's days are numbered, Vince.
Yeah, he just has to hope at this point that he can get a kill or 2, which he has, and then die before time, because the chances of clutching this are so small. But he has put so much damage down. Unfortunately, the time just runs dry, and he may get picked off on the cross. Does survive Afro missing a shot there. So nice effort from Sapek. He's going to actually trade up to the AWP, so really solid performance from him, all things considered. But man, when Eyeballers mollied out barrels, they got flash in, 2 players pushed the site. That smoke absolutely destroyed them. And then some great picks from Matties in particular. Really well played by FNATIC. I thought Eyeballers, to be honest, made the correct decision. I was really liking that little change in pace, that little altercation. It seemed to give them so much real estate on the B site, but you can't fault FNATIC's aim, man. That was on point.
No, big round for him. Much needed as well in the grand scheme of things. Whilst we've got a little tactical timeout here as well, it's hilarious, Vince. You know, from all those years ago, back watching JW just being a bit of a Goliath, right? Just running around with the AWP, taking fights wherever he wants, getting stuck into your face, winning those cheeky little clutch rounds. He's still doing it. He's still doing it again in the year 2024, Vince. You know, some things are consistent in life. Death, taxes, and JW just going beast mode in games of CS.
It's great to see, isn't it? I mean, we've had a lot of blasts from the past over the duration of these qualifiers. We had the Boomer Demons, of course, with Get Right and the kind of core of the old school NIP roster. We've got Body in here as well, who's been around the scene for so very long. Crims, of course, needs no introduction. The guy is CS royalty at this point, let's be honest. And so many of the players that we've seen along the way, Jacky. It's another reason I do love casting these kind of qualifiers. There's so many of those older names like pop back up again. But in this case, like, let's be honest, JW's having a hell of a game. Like, this is some lights out stuff from JW. Some of the flicks he's landed, some of the aggression. He's 105 ADR with 11 kills. And it's been a bit top heavy on Eyeballers. It's mainly JW that's doing the heavy lifting. So these guys may be, you know, a bit long in the tooth in terms of their CS careers, but they still got a lot to give.
A lot more fuel in the tank. Maybe at this point, JW is more of a hybrid, actually. There must be some sort of batteries kicking into second gear. Can't all be fossil fuels on this man. He's been running for far too long, far too efficiently. Ooh. Afro. He's going to get peppered on the angle. Gives up controller connector. Now, Crims thinks he's got a good grasp on this situation. He had the read on the push down, and it turns out that he does indeed. Nearly follows up with the second frag, but Shine will be able to battle back. Thing is, it's still not the best position to be in. Tons of time on the clock, sure, but you're down to 3 players, limited utility, and it really relies on Pepsaw to survive on his entry towards B. Waddles his way in through Monster Pipe. Matties was ready for it on the close swing. Attention drawn towards the barrels. He goes down. Now JW and Shine left with it all to do. Outnumbered 2-1 here.
We've seen a couple of picks from JW so far with jump peeking, so tread very lightly if you're FNATIC. But it feels a bit like deja vu here, Jacky. You know, we've first some aggression from Eyeballers. It slows down this time because of a couple of kills, of course, on the side of FNATIC. But then 30 seconds on the clock, and they're desperately trying to scramble over to the B site. We've been here before quite a few times. It hasn't really worked out for them as of yet. Molly down again is going to force away Matties, but that's really only half the problem. Because it's double player stack here. It's very one-dimensional from Eyeballers, and I think it has to be a save. You know, you sat on a low Shine, you've got an AWP, you've got an AK, may as well bring that into the next round. Oh, I say that, JW nearly gets peppered through the wall, down to an early grave, surviving on 14.
Oh, mate. That's rough. Body didn't have time to bury him 6 foot deep there. Was trying to just get it done 3 foot shallow, but JW just walks his way through, barely stays alive in the end. Could have been rough, bud. Could have been rough. But at least he still got the AWP in his hands. Much needed as well. It has been a difference maker into a good few of these rounds. So he needs that gun, needs that scope if he wants to leave. FNATIC broke. Chance of this being a very dominant T-side half-4 Eyeballers, though, has been slipping consistently. They haven't been able to get a grasp back on the hot commodity that is these rounds in the past few. And you need a little bit more. 4 isn't going to be enough going on to that CT side. JW, this is vintage and a half, isn't it? Just runs through the Molotov, straight up short, looking for the fight, but he gets a bite taken out of him. Afro hits a shot at just the right time.
You know, honestly, Jacky, that feels like a bit of frustration mixed in with desperation to me. It is vintage JW. He's a very aggressive AWPer. He plays a lot of spawns. But when nothing is working in these last 3 or 4 rounds, when your T side is just showing it's fruitless, sometimes you have to force a play and be the X factor. Unfortunately, get snuffed out very quickly indeed. But It just feels to me that maybe some frustration is creeping into eyeballers here because nothing's been working out for them in the last 10 or so minutes. A low shine gets shut down, and that puts it onto Sepek, whose options are pretty dire, pretty bleak indeed. 50 seconds on the clock. He did a great job, of course, a few rounds ago where he really did go full into damage control. Got a couple of kills, picked up an AWP, and wiggled his way out of the round. So maybe that's going to be the mission should he choose to accept it. But it proves to be impossible. Afro's there with the AWP, doesn't miss that shot. And that is a 7-4 lead, as he said. And considering that how strong Eyeball has started, this is what, 4-1? That's 6 rounds in a row now, yeah, to FNATIC. That's simply not good enough for this half. Like, even if they get 5 rounds, they're going to be disappointed with this, Jacky. They had everything. They had the keys to the kingdom, and they threw them away.
It's crazy, isn't it? It felt like it was such a dominant start to things. They were flying along, racking up round after round. And then you start to think back to some of the ones that they'd almost confirmed, Vince. They'd almost guaranteed. The round with JW, the smoke defuse, where he's spamming into the smoke with the AWP. Barely missing those shots. That chance of getting an extra round, getting the momentum back behind them on Eyeballers, really did come back to bite them in the bottom. And FNATIC have made a huge recovery on this one. It's on their CT side as well, where you want to garner as much respect as you can, where you need those extra rounds. T side, it can be bumpy at the best of times. So for Eyeballers here, can you at least squeeze a little bit more out? Can you turn that 4 into a 5? Give yourself one last round of advantage to work with. The buy isn't going to support that. It's not going to be easy for you. A couple of rifles sprinkled in. The AWP physically can't be afforded. You've got the Deagles there and a couple of players as well. Heap just spouting that hand cannon. Mac 10 for Shine and the split of rifles between the trio. Bomb's going to be set over towards the B site early. Early utility dash down as well. And it's been a bit hard for him to actually gain any sort of respect on the B bomb side, Vince. There was a few rounds towards the beginning of the game, but since then, the more dynamic setups we've seen from FNATIC, sending 3 players over here, it's proved far too hard to get through.
Yeah, it could be more of the same here because that HE was perfectly timed, perfectly placed, and all the bullets landing on Eyeballers. Keep last man with a Galil. And man, Eyeballers, I mean, they came into this half looking so sharp as Heap is putting down some bodies of his own. Fair play, he's not going to go down without a fight. But only 11 HP at his disposal. But they slowed down real quick. FNATIC picked up the pace. Afro connects the shot. And that will be an 8-4 half, which when you consider that Eyeballers won the pistol, they then subsequently went 3-0 and 4-1. It was looking like FNATIC were going to get battered, bruised, and just demolished. And yet here we stand with an 8-4 lead. And with that being said, shades of Zyphon from yesterday, perhaps, where JW is going huge. He's got 12 kills. He's top fragging on the server, 83 ADR. And keep in mind as well, this last few rounds, he didn't do much. He didn't get many kills. So he was absolutely stellar for the bulk of this half. And yet he still finds himself 8-4 behind. He's got to be gutted about that prospect.
Yeah, it's been rough for him, man. It felt like he capped out a little while ago as well, right? You know, we kind of saw him sat on 11 frags for a good few rounds now, where, like you said, it looked like he was getting a bit more frustrated, a bit more agitated in some of the peaks that he was going for. Now you get a chance to at least reinvent yourself. Start back from square one. You're only 4 rounds down. I suppose that is the beauty of MR12. As much as it can be over quite quickly, you can recover a rough half quite fast as well. You just need to put your crosshair on the heads, play the old point and click. On this one, though, the point is going to be A site. That's where they're barraging their way towards. The dink down onto Shine. It results in the CTs falling a bit further back, trying to play on those angles. Quick shots come in, though, as one by one they rip the heads off. Afro's going to lose his face as Pepsaw shuts him down with the Julies. And Eyeballers take the pistol round they were hoping for.
Oh, they absolutely desperately required that round. So both pistols go the way of Eyeballers. They still got their work cut out for them, though. But it does mean they can get their hands onto a fairly stable economic standing to kick things off. And also, Jacky, with no bomb plant, FNATIC's choices are pretty much nothing. They just have to stick with the Glocks. They don't even invest in a single flash. No HE, nothing whatsoever. So if you're Eyeballers, this has to be a clean round. Get it done with maybe 1 casualty at most, and that HE is so much damage. About 150, 160 in total from a $300 investment. Definitely worth.
Mate, that is a despicably timed grenade. Perfect showcasing as well by Bastion the Observer. Mate, that's got to just leave you frustrated. Straight back in, you've just lost the pistol. You're thinking, all right, boys, let's go for a bit of a faster play towards toilets. Let's try hit them quick. Just go round through playground so we don't get hit by any early Molotovs. Oh, we've eaten a grenade. And at this point, JW might be eating them for breakfast as well, Vince. Fine body. Rest of the squad's got to go running in. And they're just being blown over. A strong wind has hit them from the bomb site. And eyeballers quickly start to close that gap. I mean, you've gone from being in a position where you're 4 rounds down to now only 2 rounds away. If you can get through this one, round 15, which is going to be your next hardest test, then actually we could have a bit of a game on our hands here going into the second half.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, this is one of those points that we kind of touched on in the first half with Afro not quite feeling, at least it looked to me, the litmus test, not too comfortable in his position with the AWP right now. On the CT side, you're going to get multiple opportunities, and you can play static and stationary with that weapon. If you miss a couple shots here and there, you can fall back to the site. You'll get another chance. The T side is way more brutal. It's a lot more unforgiving when it comes to AWPing. So I am a bit concerned for FNATIC in that regard, because JW is running away with this one right now. 14 frags. You expect him to be very consistent now on the CT side. He's not against being aggressive, as we're seeing right here in connector itself. So it's going to be a tough one for FNATIC, especially as they've lost the first player. Spray back is good from QB. The German has evened the odds. And with 1 minute and 10 left on the clock, plenty of options available on the side of FNATIC.
You can bide your time. So many choices to be made. And the longer they take to do it, the more eyeballers second guess themselves. The more there's a chance that they throw out another smoke, they throw out another flash, dwindle their resources that they have to defend themselves on either a retake or to defend a site if push comes to shove. The one player that's a bit further up is going to be Afro. He's the point man on this one, the front man in the band, screaming down the microphone. He'll want to draw the attention his way from front toilets. Rest of the squad goes for the Wolfpack push out through long. You're going to get a pretty clean entry onto the bomb site unless Pepsor can deny it.
He's just been mollied off as well. He's getting bullied, pushed around. Square in the chest. He will fall back and look for that boost. The timing is good. Hit and run from Pepsor. QB on the wrong end of the trade this time. But it has at least bought up enough time and enough space for the post plant. And with smokes in the eyes and enough to choke on, if your eyeballers, they're going to be stalled and stagnated for quite some time here. Crims decides to get aggressive, take the initiative, push into that little border that's been erected by the smokes, even trade back and forth now as Crims, the off angle, gets the double spray. Classic Crims, perfect crosshair placement. And so much game IQ as well, holding that off angle, anticipating the push, and they line up for him to snatch this round away.
Proving why it was vital for his CS career that he studied trigonometry back in university all those years ago, Vince. Just playing on the off angle, a filthy Kurt angle at that as well. Just using the smoke to shroud the back. They walk in, he gives them the good night love tap. And FNATIC back with a winning round. One that they'll want, one that they'll need. Giving him a little bit of foot room to play with now. Afro doing the JW. He goes for the fast short peek. Sapek's on the off angle, close with the MP9. But if you peek into this, you better do it quick. You go slow, you're going to get your head ripped off by the AWP.
That's the problem, man. Like, the reason why JW is so damn good at these kind of aggressive peaks, we do see another trade out on long. Heat comes out worse for wear. A lot of people kind of meme JW for not necessarily having, like, the greatest game sense, but he actually is a super intelligent player. He's aggressive, but he knows when to temper it. He knows when he's in a position that has passed its expiry date, and he will back away in those kind of situations. You see, Afro just get too overzealous. He's like, well, I'm here, so I have to make something happen. I'll just go a bit further, get shut down from the player that he could have had if he was just a little bit more patient. 4v4, though, even trades back and forth with just under 50 seconds on the clock, but there's no utility on eyeballers. That could be a problem further on in this round.
Pretty bone dry. And like you're saying, not having those nades, oh, it can make your life so much harder on the CT side. Maybe Heap, though, can brute force it. You might not need brains if you got Brawn. And he bodies the first with the backup as they swing together. Bombs now firmly in your control. Sure, Matties is out on the A site, but he's burning and not in the right way. Isn't turning the heat up, tries to turn and at least hit the first. Shuts down one man, but now his days are numbered, Vince. He realizes he's got everyone breathing down his neck. He wants to clutch onto the AK and at least find his way through with everything he has on his person. Doesn't want to die after time on this one, and he will be gifted that. But it's not a very large gift, is it? More just a constellation prize at that point, as there really wasn't much else for them in the round. 9-7, Eyeballers clapping back. 3 of the 4 rounds go their way so far on the second half.
Yeah, I love that call as well that was made to get aggressive on Banana. You know, they realize, listen, we don't have utility. We can't play the long game. We definitely can't retake. If we lose a site, we're pretty much going to have to go back and save. And this is a far from ideal situation. So we'll take the initiative. We'll clump together. We'll take the fight to FNATIC. And it's worked a charm. Very well played indeed. As you mentioned, with Matty's lone AK, there's not too many options available on the side of FNATIC. Maybe just try and play this a little bit slower, hope that they can deplete as much utility from Eyeballers as possible. Their economy in no great shape. $50 on Pepsa, Sapec, only 400 on JW. So, I mean, if you're burning quite a few of those incendiaries and smokes, that is a cost that could catch up with Eyeballers should you break them back down again on the CT side. So, although the chances of winning this round may be slim, they can still have some minor victories here and there. JW punched up. He's never, ever missing that shot. Crims will be his victim. AK goes down. Smooth as butter once again. If your Eyeballers, Heap had a very rough start to this game, but he is awakening from that slumber as a flash wrecks Heap, fully blinded. The Glock comes out and somehow reigns supreme in that encounter. AK now traded back up again, but surely there's no hope for this round, Jacky. I mean, this should be a foregone conclusion.
Especially in situations like that. The bait across. JW's slow reaction does at least still result in the frag, but there's a trade from Afro. Hasn't been as hot as you'd want with the AWP. Maybe on an AK, can he get much done? Off angle's not going to work well for him. Comes around the corner, Pepsil's waiting, and Eyeballers do take that one. So limited chances, and it falls back in favor of the Ballers themselves. 9-8. Getting closer again. Almost level. Almost balanced. The rocky ship that they've been on. And it's still main man JW that's floating towards the upper echelons. He's still top fragger on the server. At least now they're, like you're saying, Heap's woken up and starting to joining. And if that is the sleeping giant that can take a bit of stress off the rest of the team, maybe that's what they needed. You had to have a few more players come alive. JW's going for peaks as well. Raw face, no smoke on Monster. Walk down through connector. Oh, first frag's taken, but body claps back.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sapec, those flashes, and I think most of those bullets went into the concrete as opposed to into body. So body does live to tell the tale, but for not much longer as Shine has the drop on him. That's also the bomb that goes with him. And that's a very rough position to lose the bomb. The CTs now can swell and swarm through on the short side and really put up a strong fortress. I don't think FNATIC are going to get even close into this round at this stage when you consider where the bomb is and also a 2-on-4. Matties and Crims have their work cut out for them. JW holding the narrowest of angles, spots the legs and backs away.
Debating going back in for a wide swing on the second. Realizing though at this point, 45 seconds left on the clock. You outnumber them 2-1. Bombs down in connector as well. Don't need to be too audacious. Don't need to throw them a bone for the T side to try and find their way back into the round. And really for Crims and Matties, what do? You hope that someone walks into your crosshair, someone gives you a fight that you can win. Outside of that, running the risk of going for anything too crazy will just result in you throwing away what you've got in your kit. Those AKs, that little bit of utility, and the Kevlar vests that they have wrapped around them. 10 seconds left on this one, though, and no overly aggressive push from Eyeballers. So both of the teams should get a full save off. You can carry those weapons through into the next. No money, but you will still have what you've invested into at least.
Yeah, exactly. They do at least have something to play with, but it won't feel like much of a consolation considering the nature and how this half has started. You know, we came into this half talking about Eyeballers being very disappointed. An 8-4 half on the side of FNATIC after winning the pistol, being 4-1 in the lead. They get the second pistol. We got questions. We got some potential shaky understanding of what Eyeballers can even do on this half of CS. But they've proven a lot of the naysayers wrong. They've played so solidly. The FNATIC have got to pick it up here. Otherwise, they face the very real possibility, Jacky, of just fading into the distance. Like, they're going to end up, if they don't win this round, which isn't looking great, they go into the next one. Eyeballers are already double digits. At that point, if you lose the next rifle round, I mean, you're in real trouble. And Crimson Matties have almost no money allocated to them as well. So they're in a very difficult spot right now.
And somehow, Vince, this is a round with the body language of CS making me believe this is going to work out perfectly for Eyeballers. You've got the bait play on JW. Even if JW falls here, they're probably going to push straight by and not clear the angle. They tried to, but Matties went in on entry with the orb. That's the problem. No rifles. Even in that sort of situation, you're thinking maybe QB goes in with the deagle, look for the wide swing, hope he hits the tap. Instead, it's a free pick. They do get the AWP back at least. They passed it over to Afro, so it's still in circulation. It's not as if the weapon's gone flying off and they couldn't recover it. But the round that already looked daunting gets so much harder. You've lost one of your pawns. You've lost the potential for the trade by sending in Matties now. And you're down to 4 players. There's the quick peek from JW. He comes unstuck as Afro strikes. Heap's got to hit a worldie of a spray down, Vince.
Peps is there with him as well, though. But the flash is so good. Now Pepsort is called upon and he will fall. Crims dealing the fatal damage. Out through the smoke comes Sepek, but that's into the deagle. And with 10 seconds to go, and that's the reason he pushed that smoke in the first place, to try and deny the bomb plant. Shine may have the element of surprise, but Afro still nails him. Okay, Afro, we had our doubts. We were a little bit concerned about some of the shots he was missing. Nothing wrong with that round if you're Afro. On point with the AWP.
Dream recovery there. Looked scary. Looked really rough for him. The setup of JW and Heap towards long. You were thinking there was potential. They all just get mopped up. Instead, they bide their time, make the plays. And Afro, he really did take the MVP in that round. Quick reaction shot against a speedy man himself. The flash in JW that went for the quick peek. Maybe regretting that choice now, as this could have been Eyeballers on 10. Instead, that is the bounty that FNATIC have taken. They put themselves there first. Molotov burns bright as well. Heat rising. And JW forced to fall back because of it. Losing a little bit of health on that one. You've got a boost play towards the back of Graffiti. Watching over for if anyone comes wandering in through connector or the short pipe. That's Sapek up on top with the MP9. This has been getting a lot of play lately. The MP9, dangerously accurate. It feels so powerful in CS2 with that high rate of fire, the way it connects. So if you go walking out, you better watch your head.
Yeah, it's so good as well with that Pika's advantage in CS2 because it's so mobile as a weapon. As you say, the accuracy's on point. The fire rate is insane as well. Very powerful weapon right now. When he's seeing at range, it's doing damage. It takes down QB through the smoke on Sepek. Our Eyeball is about to return the favor here. Crims goes a bit too aggressive. He was desperately looking for that entry, punished by Heap's deagle, and now Afro with the AWP is going to try and rinse and repeat. Misses the shot. Sepek jumps over it, sprays him down, and FNATIC once again are capitulating.
He's nutmegged him with the AWP, Vince, and the hopes and dreams have been dashed because of it. Matties as well. Oh, his nerves have got to be at an all-time high. Heart beating right now, down to 80 HP. Puts the bullet to the brain, at least on Heap, but time is kicking in. That's the extra man on the server. He's panicking to find the bomb. He's at least recovered it. He's got to go for the plant, and on the cross, it's the wall bang shot as the AWP denies it. Shine steals away the 10th, and they tied the game up at such a pivotal point. 21 rounds into the game, 10 rounds a pop. FNATIC losing out to basically the Bunderblass MP9s in their face, spitting bullets at them.
It's like they get one step forward, FNATIC, but little they know it's off the edge of a cliff. And it's just straight down at that point. Like, how can you justify losing that round? I get that you've moved into the MP9's territory, but a lack of an execute, a lack of any kind of set play, no flashes, no smokes, nothing. You just walk in dry and get completely punished. Some great shots, don't get me wrong. Eyeballers on point there. Sepek landed a couple of beauties. I think he got one through the smoke as well. JW continues to impress. Heap has really come alive. 110 ADR, 17 kills with 9 assists, 28 kill participation, 26, pardon me, kill participation for him is absolutely insane. But we are all even in this affair. Lots of history between some of these players, Crims, JW, etc. And it's about as close as we anticipated, Jacky. It's all even.
It really has been delivering, mate. This has been a bit of a blockbuster to start off day 2. Still so many more games to get through as well. We cut short yesterday's qualifier. So this is around a 64 game. And boy, oh boy, has it been an intense one. Minute and 25 seconds on the clock here. T's grouped up outside of Monster and Short. They're going in for the quick push. They clear the angle at least on first. QB strikes with 2. There's a bit of a response back as Pepsaw is able to pepper the bullets into them, but the numbers are dropping, falling like flies as JW swings into the situation. Nade over the top, not enough damage on that. 8 HP, wiped off of Afro. Body's ready for the read on the rear as well. He knows Heap's coming, Vince.
JW behind the smoke. Molly now down. Smoke has dwindled, but already a third of that time has ticked away. Heap needs some success, and he needs it so quickly in order to build JW's confidence in this retake. There's no reason for him to hang the AWP out there. Who's watching the back? He was waiting, and Crims, he was a couple steps ahead of JW. One taps him. No saved AWP. Oh, the finances of some of these players are horrific. Heap's down to 1,500.
Boy, oh boy. That's a rough tempo play. Ripped away from Eyeballers. Losing out on a big one that they needed now. And FNATIC, the bell tolls for them as they reach their 11th round. 1 away from the safety net of 12, 2 away from closing down the game for good, bypassing Eyeballers here in this round of the open qualifier and keeping their momentum going. JW on the scope has to be such a focal point of the team. This is one of those rounds where he needs to be activated from start to finish and really deal damage with the big green gun. He went for the initial peek down on Connector. He's reset. Vince, he's fired between the building. He's missed the shot in Connector. Crims claps back with the headshot. And now he's got a free AWP to work with. Oh, this is not a good start for the Eyeballers.
That's a great recovery, though, from Pepsa. But they're going to need a lot more where that came from. Yeah, JW, we were talking about how powerful and prolific he was in that first half. Pepsa, though, he's not interested in what's in the past. He wants what's in the present and the future. And that Deagle is ripping heads, putting bodies to the ground, giving his team a chance, a 3-on-3. Heap, oh, he gets 2, overzealous. He snatched at his opportunity. And in doing so, whiffs, and there's so much damage done to FNATIC. Shine has the element of surprise. They may not anticipate this push. The smoke's going to keep QB alive for a couple more seconds, and Body with the insta headshots. Even though FNATIC take that round, Jacky, Eyeball has had so many opportunities. The JW miss, the miss from Heap on site at the end, an unfortunate insta headshot. But Eyeballers, their own worst enemy sometimes. What's happened to JW, who went from being a god to completely absent in the second half?
Mate, that's so rough. The problem is with losing a shot like that, Vince, you know how much that gets to you as an AWPer. You know how much that's going to frustrate you, thinking the difference if I hit that shot, the difference if I'm still a presence on the battlefield. Still had that scope to work with. Could have been a whole different round. Instead, it's you staring defeat in the face. Has to be flawless round. We need 2 rounds back-to-back from Eyeballers. That's the only way they can stay in the runnings to even pick up a potential win here in OT. No more chances in regulation. FNATIC have stolen that away from them. And they're just going for a quick play. You've got a wolf pack of 3 players walking their way up long for free. Sapek's quick on the flank, but I don't know if he's fast enough. Shine needs to deny entry with a Deagle and keep their attention. No one's watching the back right now. They've got nades pulled, Matty's turns, but they lose focus towards the MP9s that burn them. And again, it's another one of these wacky rounds that looks to try and command respect for the Eyeballers.
That is the kind of play. Go back and watch Pepsa with that MP9. That is why the gun is so powerful right now in CS2. The ability to run around the corner, fully automatic spray, and hit headshots consistently. Absolutely insane. And as you said, it's another one of these wacky kind of clown shoes rounds where FNATIC come into it thinking, right, let's put this one to rest. And yet here we are in a 1-on-4. Afro may have the AWP, but he has no allies to play with. The bomb also has been dropped down. No control on long. The chances here of a clutch, almost zero. And considering he's on $850, you better believe he wants to save this right now. He knows he has no chance. We're going the distance, Jacky. The full 24 rounds. We may even have some extra, some dessert on top of that. With how close this game has been, I would not be surprised if we head to OT. But let's see what happens.
Feels like we're gravitating that way. But it's all down to the eyeballers. It's up to them to prove that they can go toe-to-toe right now. 24th round gets racked up. At least for them, they've got firepower to play with. Everyone's going to be armed going into this. Utilities there as well. Full kits across the board. Couple AKs even in place. You hit those one taps, could be the difference of you being blessed on your CT angle defense. But FNATIC, what are you bringing out? Limited in terms of the buy, Vince. It screams an OT, but with how CS2 gets played sometimes, you can never quite tell. Galils are in fruition. You've got Body on just the dig, and Afro with the salvaged AWP. How much noise can he make with this big gun?
He can make a lot of noise, but he's not landing shots. There we go. The second shot has connected. Bettering JW again. I can't remember the last time JW got a frag, Jacky. It feels like forever ago. He's just being bullied now from Afro.
In that situation as well, Vince, it felt like he had to get the refrag off, right? He had to hit that reset shot.
That is a big, heavy blow to the OT prospects. JW down early doors. FNATIC with the player advantage, able to spread the CTs that little bit more thin. And he is going to have the opportunity to at least bring them back underway. Afro connects his second kill of the round. Maybe wants to go in for more. That grenade banks off him, but he still flicks in. But Sepek is not giving his position away. He's playing possum, playing patiently, passively, in through the first kill. Looking for a second, but Body picking up the secondary up. Is able to diminish him, dispatch him, and leaves it into Shine in a 1-on-3, in a post plant on top of it. And he's not had the greatest of games here. A chance to make amends, a chance to show what he's capable of, but Afro snuffs him out, and FNATIC take the game 13-11.